Hi students, it's Mrs. T. I know most of you are busy working on test 3. It's due very soon, so check in Blackboard to see when you need to have that finished by. Text me with questions. If you've already submitted your test 3 as of Tuesday morning at about 9 a.m., I had all those graded and posted in the gradebook. So some of you are going to be resting easy for the next couple of days before we have to do a reaction paper on a new topic from Unit 4. We are in Unit 4 now. We're in the middle of Week 12, and we have Week 12, 13, and 14 to look more in depth at the concept of social institutions. So this is not a new concept to you. I don't have to go back and define this for you again because I believe in Unit 1 and definitely in Unit 2 we got definitions for what social institutions are, and we've been talking about social institutions since January. So this unit, our last unit in sociology for this spring semester, is going to cover specific social institutions that just give you a general overview of some more in-depth fields that you can go into in sociology and some of the focuses that you can land on if you opt to major or minor in a field like sociology. So, please make note, this is Unit 4. There will be a Unit 4 reading assignment that I will post in Blackboard, and you are responsible for completing that reading assignment before our Test 4. And we only have one more test, and that's Test 4. You can call it a final exam if you would like. It certainly is going to cover a lot of review from previous units, like I have written here on the board. We're going to cover things like the socialization process. We're going to cover social institutions, social groups, the sociological imagination, the perspectives that you wrote your letter to grandma about. We're going to review a lot of those concepts in Unit 4, and then Test 4 will happen during final exam week. Okay, so final exam week is like the first full week in May, something like that, and I'll have it set up just like Test 3 was, and you'll have about a week to work on it, and that will be done. You'll have your sociology knowledge, you'll have your sociology credit, and you will be ready for bigger and better things as you move into your summer and fall classes with us. Reach out and let me know if you need to register because I can help you with that. Okay, so as I have written here on the board, chapters 11 and 12 are the only chapters that we're going to cover in Unit 4, okay? All of chapter 11 and all of chapter 12. Now, chapter 11 is over family and marriage from the sociological perspective, okay? So I'm going to give you some sociological definitions of family and marriage, not definitions that you might learn from Disney movies, not definitions that you might learn from books that your kindergarten teacher reads to your kindergartner, but sociological definitions of family and marriage. You're going to be responsible for the sociological definitions of these things, not the kind of subjective ones or fairy tale ideas that we might have gotten about these things during our informal socialization process. So we're going to look at technical definitions, sociological definitions of family and marriage in chapter 11, and in chapter 12 we're going to look at sociological definitions of religion and education. We are not going to look at anything that is controversial about religion. In a social science class, religion is not a controversial topic. We simply talk about it objectively. We look at it from the sociological imagination point of view. We are not going to argue which religion in the world is correct or good or better or any other adjective that shows our personal biases. We are going to look at religion as a social institution, how it affects norms on the macro scale and guides our lives on the micro scale. We're going to look at the education system, which I see now that I did not spell this word correctly when I was writing it on the board. Let me erase that now and fix it. We're going to look at the education system, as we have referred to it many times before, social institutions. For these four things, these four things are social institutions. And when we talk about education as a social institution, we're not talking about just one school experience, one classroom experience. We're talking about macro scale social structures and the purpose of the education system, the needs that it fulfills for the norms of society on the macro scale. And so we're going to be talking about each of these four things in this unit on social institutions. But wait, for the price of four, you're going to get this fifth one thrown in there, because even though chapters 11 and 12 do not have the economy in the title of these things, as we learn and go deeper into the concepts of social institutions, family, marriage, religion, and education, we're going to overlap a discussion about the economy onto it. The economy, and also the topic of Unit 3, which is social stratification. The economy and also social stratification. This is another social institution that we will continue to examine free of charge while we look at these two particular chapters in our textbook for our last unit. Okay? So there's going to be lots to review from previous chapters. Words like social stratification, write that one down. Words like social institutions, let's write that one down, the very first one that I have on the board here. Words like norms, I've already thrown that one out at you. Socialization, I've thrown that one out at you. Make sure you know achieved status and ascribed status. Make sure you know what social structure is, because social institutions, along with statuses and roles and social groups, are all mingled together and connected together to build social structure. Make sure that you review terms like social facts. You will hear me referring to that in this lesson also. So this particular video, I'm going to stop now so that you can organize your notes and get your notes from January on until today and find those definitions of those things and write them out like kind of an introductory glossary for yourself for this particular unit. You need to know what socialization is, the sociological definition of socialization, when I say that word. We only have 3 weeks left. I'm not going to have time to do a thorough review of each of these topics that I mentioned from previous units. That's your job, because learning means that you took in the information back then while we were focused with pinpoint accuracy on it, and you remember it now and bring it into your learning experience now so you can build on that foundation and get more nuances and more meaning and deeper critical thinking about these issues. So make sure you do social institutions, social structure, social facts, the socialization process, what social stratification is, and anytime you hear me review a term from a previous unit in any of these videos, stop it right then and there. I don't care what kind of funny face I'm making when you freeze frame it. Stop it right there and flip back in your notes and rewrite that definition for yourself in your notes for Unit 4, because yes, let me answer that question now. Yes, it's going to be on the test. Your successful outcome on Test 4 is going to rely heavily on your knowledge from January until today and through our entire discussion about social institutions for Unit 4. So this is just an introductory lesson, or an introductory kind of talking to, I guess you could call it, for Unit 4. Get those preliminary vocabulary words organized at the beginning of your notes for this section, and the next time we see each other, we're going to dive right on into this concept of family from a sociological point of view and its significance in particular with the economy. So get ready for that and come prepared, okay? Put your thinking caps on, and I'll see you next time.